I am unable to think of my mother. Sorry, I'm bumming you out tonight. Without two separate memories occurring concurrently in my head. I'll just get to them. The first is when I was 15. I am a freshman in high school, and I am in Disney World with my high school's marching band, because I was awesome. My best friend and I had wandered off and gotten lost, and we had returned late to find this giant monorail line. If you've been to Disney World, you're aware of the kind of lines that are in Disney World lines. So there's like 250 people, all of them miserable, some of them vomiting, snaking around this huge kind of garden. And the garden is lined with hedgerows, and there are topiary Mickeys frozen in some kind of horrible rictus, of happiness, And my friend and I are looking at each other, and we're realizing that we're late, and we're going to miss the train. And just before I panic, I hear this voice calling, and it's my mom, and she's going, "Hey!" And I look out, and she had spotted me with like mom laser eyes, right? Because they have. And she looks and she sees me, and I see her waving her arms around like a lunatic, and I go, "What do I do?" And she goes, "Book it!" And I look at my friend, and he looks at me, and the two of us proceed to engage in the biggest line cut in history. And we just tear ass right through this giant field. We leap both over the "Please do not walk on grass" sign, and then proceed to vault over the hedgerows, and we're darting past the little topiaries, and everybody in line is kind of groaning at the fact that these two like pale skinny kids are running through this giant like maze of happiness, right? And then all of a sudden the Disney World cops start chasing us, and my mom gets all of the kids in the marching band, because we're awesome, to start cheering for us, and everybody, all of a sudden they're all cheering, and the people in the line realize that I'm not some kid cutting line, but I'm a kid running to his mom. And they all start cheering and booing the cops. And the cops peel off, and my mom is like, "Yeah, fuck you guys," right? Yeah. And I look and I get to her, and I see her face, and she's just happy and smiling, and she's my mom, man. That was my mom, and she was healthy. And that's the thing about cancer, is that it lets you live like you're healthy for a while. Months for most, years if you're lucky. In a year, it had taken everything away. It just gobbled her up. And this is the second memory. This is the thing that I can't not think about when I think about my mom. Her liver had failed in her sleep. And I got home and she wasn't there. And my dad picks me up from the house, and we go to the hospital, and we both know, we know. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with this, but I know this is what's supposed to happen, because I look at him and I go, "Is this it?" And he goes, "Yeah, this is it." And we get to the hospital, and he worked in that hospital, so all the doctors and nurses at this hospital, they all kind of like fly to him, and they're all talking about the medicine of it, right? Because they're trying to make him feel better. I guess, I don't know. They give him something to talk about. And I'm 16 years old, and I know intrinsically that I don't want anyone to see how I'm feeling, because I don't even know how I'm feeling. So I look at the little whiteboard, and it's got my name on it, which is her name. And I find her room number, and I slip off on my own to go and see her, to have a moment, because I know this is a moment in my life that's going to mean something. I don't know what the fuck it's going to mean, but it's going to mean something. She was alive, but she wasn't there. And they hadn't covered her up. She was naked. And she had a catheter coming out of her, and she had those sticky things all over her body, and wires coming out of them up to a machine that's just cruelly beeping, telling me that she's alive, but not really alive. She's lingering. And she looks like someone just dropped a marionette in a bed. Just this inert thing at crooked angles with these wires just kind of haphazardly lying about. And what the fuck do you do with that, So I go over and I cover her up. And I whisper something to her that I'm not going to tell you. And I kiss her on the head, and I leave. That was 15 years ago. I'm 30 years old, which means that I've spent exactly half of my life knowing my mother as a memory, And I've been able to know my dad as a man. I've been able to grow up with him and see his faults and get him, But I never got to know her, and so you engage in what's basically archaeology. You sift through their leavings, you read their old letters, you read their journals, and my mother wrote tons of journals, and you look at their old photographs and you try to decipher every smile, and I can put together an idea of who she was based on those things. And so basically, it's just storytelling, right? But I can't reconcile these two memories. This one where she was so alive, so exactly who she was, and then the other where she's so dead, but still alive. My brain tells me that there's a way to fit these together into a story, because that's what I do. I tell stories, but I can't tell this story, because this story doesn't make any fucking sense. And that's what my mom is. She's a story that I can't tell. And I'm really scared that I'm going to spend the rest of my life not knowing how to tell that story. And frankly, this is the first time I've ever tried to do it.